What is up, friends? Welcome back. I'm glad to be home. Last week, about Thursday, I didn't feel good, so I went to the ER. Turns out I had a bacterial infection. Man, I had to spend the whole weekend, up until yesterday, into the hospital, pumping me full of antibiotic IVs and all that. Totally sucked. So I spent championship weekend in the hospital. You know what sucked is they got DirecTV, and DirecTV and CBS are having this little toddler slap fight going on right now. So they didn't have CBS, so I missed the SEC championship game. But I saw some others that were pretty good. We'll get to that. Didn't have time to compel any news, but there are a buttload of transfers going on. A lot of top players you wouldn't think are leaving their teams or transferring to another team. Just total chaos these last few days. But anyway, let's get to it. We're going to do a quick review of what happened this weekend. Get into some of these interesting bowl games coming up. We're not going to do all of them because, let's face it, not all of them are interesting. So we're just going to go over a few that I think might be pretty interesting. All right, first of all, Friday night, I saw that Pac-12 championship game. Great Oregon-Washington matchup like it usually is. Third quarter, though, Washington seemed to fall apart a little bit in the third quarter. So I was like, oh boy, here it comes. Oregon's going to jump all over them. Oregon's probably going to win this thing now. But no, fourth quarter came around. Washington was back to playing great like they did in the first half. Ended up winning that thing. Being a Washington fan, I was kind of worried, especially that third quarter, but they pulled it out. Conference USA, Liberty beat New Mexico State. Liberty is 13-0. They are, matter of fact, I think they're playing Oregon in the Fiesta Bowl, I think. We'll go over that here in a minute. 13-0, great season for them. New Mexico State, I was rooting for you because of things you've done the last two seasons, but it didn't quite work out. Still, 10-4, man. Hell of a season for you guys. Like I said, SEC, Alabama beat Georgia by 3. Wish I could have seen that game, but like we said, DirecTV and CBS are having their little toddler romper room fight. Big Ten, this one kind of surprised me. Not that Michigan beat Iowa, but I figured they would just steamroll over them and be like 45-0 or 45-7 or something. Didn't happen. 26-0. That one kind of surprised me there. ACC, Florida State beat Louisville 16-6. That game started off really, really slow. Florida State kindly slowly started kicking it in. That Florida State defense, though, that was great watching them. Let's see, what else do we see? Big 12. About the first 5 minutes were the worst things that could happen to Oklahoma State. Bad officiating, and then Texas goes up 14-0. I was like, oh boy, here we go. But I stuck with it, and Texas just dominated them. Beat them, 49-21. That first 5 minutes of that game, I wonder if that kind of shell-shocked the Cowboys. Because that pass interference call that wasn't called, and then Texas just striking fast 14-0, kind of did in Oklahoma State right there. AAC game. I was surprised by this one. SMU beat Tulane 26-14 there in New Orleans. I really thought Tulane was going to win this game. Conference championship game at home. Great team. But SMU, man, they pulled it out. If I remember, I had backup quarterback or third-string quarterback because their quarterbacks were hurt. That was a really good one, too. I didn't see the MAC game. Miami of Ohio beat Toledo 23-14. Both those teams had great seasons, both ended 11-2. Good for them. Mountain West Conference. Boise beat UNLV 44-20. I thought this one would be closer. I thought it'd be a touchdown or less game. Not. Boise State, they kind of took over. UNLV, though, you've had a great season. Really, really, really great season for you. And then the Sun Belt, Troy beat Appalachian State 49-23. Troy's just a damn good team. I don't know what's happened to Appalachian State the last couple of years or so, but they're kind of just not on par with what they've usually been. Okay, so your CFP rankings, we'll just do the 12 because the 12-team playoff is coming next year. And all I got to say is thank God. Michigan 1, Washington 2, Texas 3, Alabama 4. I know they do. Conference champion takes a big, big toll in this. I don't know, man. Georgia being number 1, undefeated, and they fall out of the top 4 because I only lost by 3 points. Like I said, I know what the criteria is, but I just got a problem with that. I really do. Uh, and Florida State, yeah, hey, they won the conference championship. Yeah, they lost their quarterback, but the second string quarterback who played decent, he's only on concussion protocols. He'll be coming back. He'll be there for that bowl game and the practices and everything. So yeah, I really thought it should have been, even though Georgia lost, I thought it should be Georgia, Michigan, Washington, and Florida State. Like I said, thank God the 12-team playoff is. And here's the thing: uh, Trevor Lawrence got hurt for the Jacksonville Jaguars. What his ankle? I'm not sure. I've heard if it's broken or what. They're on a playoff run. They got a great record, great team. Can you imagine if the NFL said, "Well, we're not going to put you in the playoff because Lawrence is out"? I don't know. Oh, anyway, like I said, thank God 12 teams next year because number 6, Georgia fell to 6. 7, Ohio State. 8, Oregon. 9, Missouri. 10, Penn State. 11, Ole Miss. 12, Oklahoma. Man, look at those great teams you got there in the top 12. And then you got a few extra that are outside the top 12. But yeah, this year I think a lot of people are saying, thank God this fourth thing is over. I really thought when the 14 playoff came out, this was just kind of a precursor, a model, a practice, and eventually we'd get to 8 teams a few years later when they figured out how this thing is going to work. No, they never did. They just stuck with 4 all the way through. And then ESPN's got that commercial this year, lying. It started out with 133 stories. Now it's down to 4. Knowing damn good and well that only about 10 to maybe 12 of those stories were actually going to be factored into the playoff. I mean, if it was 133 stories, hey, where's Toledo? I mean, look at them, 11-2. Where's some of these other teams at? So ESPN, their line commercials, just I guess they're trying to get the non-college or the college football fan back into it, and they're doing it with a line commercial. That's all I can say. Hey, this week Saturday, the annual Army-Navy game. Both are 5-6, but man, what a great game that is! Tradition. Cadets marching in, the helicopters coming over, they say beat Navy, the Navy flies their stuff over. It does not matter. Both these teams could be 0-11. Still would watch that game, man. Just a great tradition. 2 p.m. CBS this Saturday. All right, so bowls of interest here. Like I said, we're not going to do all of them, but we're just going to go over a few that could be interesting. Starts off December 16th, New Orleans Bowl. 8-4 Jacksonville State versus 6-6 Louisiana. Louisiana not having the year that they usually have, I guess, since Billy Napier left. Still, they're a good team. Jacksonville State's a good team. This could be a good matchup. The Cure Bowl, 11-2 Miami of Ohio, your Midwestern champions, versus 8-5 Appalachian State. That could be a pretty good game too. New Mexico Bowl, 10-4 New Mexico State. New Mexico State gets to stay at home pretty much. They got to travel to Albuquerque, their rivals' state, and play in their stadium. But still, it's basically a home game for them versus 8-4 Fresno State. Man, that could be a really, really good game. That's on a Saturday. 6 bowl games that day. So, got college football all day long. Bowl games to fill that up. Next one of interest, December 22nd, Georgia Tech versus Central Florida. Both are 6-6 in the Gasparilla Bowl. Central Florida, good team. Not the season they were counting on. Personally, I really thought they would have 8 to 9 wins. Didn't happen. But Georgia Tech's a team that seems to be on the rise. I mean, beating teams they shouldn't be beating, playing good football. I think Georgia Tech might be pretty good here in the next couple of years. So keep a look at that one. The 23rd, 2 days before Christmas, Birmingham Bowl, 11-2 Troy versus 7-5 Duke. Troy, the Sun Belt champions. Duke having a great season until Riley Leonard got hurt. Still a good football team. So we can see how that one goes there. Same day, 12-23, Armed Forces Bowl. 11-1 James Madison. They got to go to a bowl game, which this whole rule of, you got to sit out a year even if you go undefeated. First year in FBS or whatever, or first couple of years, I think that's just stupid. Your team kicked ass all year. They should be rewarded. And they were. Armed Forces Bowl. They'll play 8-4 Air Force. Remember Air Force? They were on a roll. And then they lost to, who did they lose to that first game? Fresno State, maybe? UNLV? I forget. But, Yeah, they were 8-0 until then they dropped their last four. Las Vegas Bowl, 8-4 Utah versus 7-5 Northwestern. Don't you think after this summer and the year Northwestern has had, they would love to go in the season 8-5? I personally thought they'd go 0-12 after all that crap happened last summer. But hey, 8-4 Utah. Utah's not what they were without Rising. Keep an eye on this one. You never know. I'm not saying Northwestern's going to win, but they are a very, very hungry team against a crippled Utah team. Might be one to keep an eye on. Hawaii Bowl, which is usually on Christmas Eve, but I guess I changed that. Coastal Carolina versus San Jose State, both 7-5. I'm sure by that Saturday you'll have family in. Hey, treat it like Christmas Eve. All the women can, talk and drink coffee and stuff in the other room, and you and the guys in the family can drink beer and watch this game in the other room. But that Saturday, 7 total bowl games that Saturday. Another consecutive Saturday with a lot of college football during the bowl season. Day after Christmas, 7-5 Texas State versus 6-6 Rice in the First Responder Bowl. Texas State, a heck of a lot better team than they were last few years. Rice, too. Rice has really come on. That might be a pretty good one to watch. Guaranteed Rate Bowl, 8-4 Kansas versus 9-4 UNLV. That could be a good one. Kansas, man, they had such high hopes this year. Injuries and a few balls that didn't bounce their way. 8-4. Still a hell of a season, 8-4. Playing UNLV, who's had a hell of a season too, 9-4. That might be a good one worth watching. December 27th, you got the Military Bowl, 6-6 Virginia Tech versus 11-2 Tulane. Can Tulane get 12 wins? That's what I'm keeping my eye on. Duke's Mayo Bowl. Did they dump the Mayo on the winning coach? 8-4 North Carolina versus 8-4 West Virginia. West Virginia, team that hasn't been good all this last few years. They've been rising up. North Carolina, boy, they were on a roll till they hit that Virginia game. Lost to Virginia. They just never seemed to be the quite same team as before that game. Holiday Bowl, which is usually pretty good every year. I'm not sure about this year, but 10-3 Louisville versus 7-5 USC. Could be a good one. Traditionally, it has been, but I guess we'll find that one out. Texas Bowl, 7-5 Texas A&M versus 9-4 Oklahoma State. Is A&M hungry enough now that they got Jimbo off their back to get 8 wins? How pissed off is Oklahoma State about that Big 12 championship game? That could be a really good one. Going to have a lot of A&M fans there, but you're probably also going to have a lot of Oklahoma State fans there. Houston down the road isn't too far from Oklahoma itself, so should have a good crowd at that one. They usually do, no matter who plays there. December 28th, the Pop-Tarts Bowl. 9-3 North Carolina State versus 8-4 Kansas State. That should be a pretty good one. What kind of swag are those players going to get in their bag? Is it going to be a bunch of different varieties of Pop-Tarts and stuff, or are they actually going to get good stuff? I guess we'll see. This is where I wish I lived closer to San Antonio than I do. Alamo Bowl, 9-3 Arizona. Arizona's done a complete turnaround. I mean, what a great team they are. Versus 10-2 Oklahoma. Man, wish I lived closer to San Antonio. I mean, it's like 3 hours away, but still. The 28th of December. Oh, no, we already did that one. 29th of December. I'm sorry. Next day, Gator Bowl. 8-4 Clemson versus 7-5 Kentucky. Two teams who had high expectations at the beginning of the year. Hasn't quite worked out for them. Sun Bowl. Sun Bowl is always really good, especially last year. That was Pitt and UCLA. Man, that was a great game. 8-4 Oregon State versus 9-3 Notre Dame. That should be a damn good game. Keep an eye on that Sun Bowl. Liberty Bowl, 9-3 Memphis versus 7-5 Iowa State. Memphis a good team. Iowa State struggling, but not as bad as the last couple of years. You know they would love to finish the year with 8 wins. One to keep an eye on. Here's the one to keep an eye on that night. Cotton Bowl, 10-2 Missouri versus 11-1 Ohio State. We know Missouri's a good team. I think we're really going to find out how good they are when they play Ohio State. Prime time, too, so that's cool. Most of us should be off work by then on the 29th. Be off on the 30th, so have some nice adult beverages and watch the Cotton Bowl. Should be a good one. Next day, 30th of December, Peach Bowl. 10-2 Ole Miss versus 10-2 Penn State. Penn State kind of disappointed this year. Yes, they're 10-2, but I really thought they would split one of those games between Michigan and Ohio State. Didn't happen. Ole Miss is a good team. This is going to be a good game to see obviously see who's going to win. But I don't know. I just don't know who is going to win this game. That's why it's kind of intriguing. Orange Bowl, 12-1, Georgia versus 13-0 Florida State. Are these two teams bummed out about what happened a couple days ago? Or are they going to be inspired to kick ass and show the playoff committee they made a bad choice? That's going to be a good one to keep your eye on, too. And it ends that night. Arizona Bowl, 11-2 Toledo versus 8-4 Wyoming. Kind of an interesting matchup. And it's the late game, so, hey, have an adult beverage and watch college football. Okay, New Year's Day, Relia, however you say it, Quest Bowl, 7-5 Wisconsin versus 9-3 LSU. Hey, I'm a Wisconsin fan. I like Wisconsin. I've liked them for years. But at 7-5, you should probably be playing back a couple days and maybe get a better team in there. Maybe put Toledo, 11-2 Toledo in there or someone. If you're barely over 500, I just don't agree with you playing on a big bowl. I don't know. Just me. Sorry, Wisconsin fans. Like I said, I'm a Wisconsin fan too. I was pissed about their year, but anyway, they're playing LSU. Will they be playing their Heisman Trophy champion? Who knows? That remains to be seen. Fiesta Bowl. Here we go. Fiesta Bowl. 13-0 Liberty. They're gonna come out, show what they got because they have 11-2 Oregon. Real good chance here for Liberty to show, hey, we're a damn good team. Go out and beat Oregon. I don't know if it's going to happen with Bo Nix and all that, but hey, still keep an eye on that one. Citrus Bowl, 10-3 Iowa versus 8-4 Tennessee. I really don't know who to call in this game. We've seen them both play. Neither one of them are up to the standards that they have been, but hey, still. All right, CFP semifinals, Rose Bowl, 12-1 Alabama versus 13-0 Michigan. Man, the way Michigan has played the last few weeks, it's not going to surprise me if Alabama wins. Alabama playing a little bit better. Michigan, they start now. I don't know what the deal is the last few weeks, but they're just not scoring as many points. But anyway, in your second CFP semifinal, Sugar Bowl, 12-1 Texas versus 13-0 Washington. Being a Washington fan, I hope Washington wins, but Texas is a good team. I'll admit that. Even though my first love is the Aggies, and I hate Texas, I will admit Texas is probably, I don't know, maybe more balanced on both sides of the ball because we know Washington can score, but sometimes their defense is a little suspect. So I guess we'll see what happens there. Anyway, now that football season is coming to an end, we still got bowl games and all this stuff. We're going to be concentrating a lot on basketball too. So we'll be reviewing games, big games. We'll just be doing the big games while football's still going on. January, we'll dive into everybody. So these next couple weeks or so, we'll be reviewing these bowl games and then going into basketball, upsets, big games coming up, that kind of stuff. And then when football season's over, we'll do what we usually do and just dive right into everything in January. Anyway, Tuesday, still early in the week, but keep busy. And the weekend will be here before you know it. Stay safe. We will see you next time.